Wait 3.
Copy. Prop.
Stand by.
Copy. TCS.
Nominal.
Systems.
And I'm live.
Copy. OC.
Nominal.
We're nominal.
Holding for Fido and Prop.
All right, we heard some of those call outs right there. So
We are nominal
a little
on,
bit ahead in terms of gearing
assume.
up to attempt
Is anyone going to turn up?
the descent orbit insertion.
But I am
the
live.
DOI took place on the far side of the moon. During
Let's
DOI
see.
Copy.
If, hey, Whackman.
All right, we're hearing calls
So
out.
the
Everything
notice did go out.
continues to be nominal, but during DOI, teams were actually in that planned
Wait,
communication.
Prop is nominal.
Copy.
Hi, in a
Systems.
previous...
Systems nominal.
Shut that guy up.
C is nominal.
Copy. All consoles nominal. Post DOI and blackout.
Fantastic news. So we came out of that communications blackout, and we completed
GNC
that.
verify 45.7.
Oh, everyone's turned up. Hang on.
So we completed that DOI, that descent orbit insertion, and we are coming out from
Alcon
that.
Ops, please be advised that there is 7.5 minutes until we start our slew from Suntrack to BNC Vector. This slew will
We
already
are
be
nominal,
pointing at the
and they're
south
starting some sort of slew.
velocity vector, and this will be one of 3 remaining slews of the mission. The second slew will occur when we switch our ephemeris to use the navigation filter solution. This is expected to take about 10 seconds.
Sorry, I've just got to
which
set some
means that
things
we
up.
may or may not observe this in our live telemetry data rates. The third and final slew will occur about 6 minutes before ignition, and this will take us from pointing along the anti-velocity vector to pointing along the final descent vector in preparation for the braking burn.
I will. What I'll do.
All right, so those are just some
Give me
of
a
the nominal
second.
call outs. We were expecting a little bit ahead of schedule, and Bridget, we did tune into the Mission Operations Center to
Add
hear some
source.
of
I'm
those
just trying to
nominal call-outs,
add an
but
overlay
can you give us
chat.
a little sense of what we can expect next?
Alcon Ops, this is VNS background.
Smart selection.
I've seen successful configuration. Video
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add,
Wonderful news.
so we
You
don't.
can also see those gauges have started to update now that we have that acquisition of signal.
Alcon FC on Ops. Want to note that in about 9 minutes we are going to have an LGA swap during that slew that was just mentioned. We'll see.
Just
a
going to
slight
add some
blackout for 40
comments
seconds.
above. Little chat window. Look at that, so I don't cover up too
Yeah,
much.
That's wonderful news.
How's
you
that?
heard it here first. Firefly just completed
Now,
that
can,
successful descent orbit insertion burn.
So we have
Blue
Whackman,
Ghost
very
will now
boring
return to
name.
coast with
Bernard,
all engines off
Carthor,
for approximately another 20 minutes
Yves
before that
Noosh,
milestone, that final no
Dog
go,
Womble,
no-go poll to begin
Timothy,
landing operations.
Space Nomad from Germany, Heinrich.
All right, so we do have something really fun.
How's your
while we
day
wait for
going
that
in the
next set
office?
of milestones.
I've
Bridget,
not
you
been
brought
in the
me a
office.
little gift here. It kind of
I have
reminds
been,
me of
yeah, maybe. I don't know. Can you see my dirty
a little bit
fingernails?
of something I would maybe make a
I've been doing
salad in,
a,
or maybe
obstacle
stir fry
race.
in. What do we have here?
So,
Exactly. So this is
yes, I'm
our
supposed to
footpad
be
has actually tested.
soaking in the bath at the moment. My legs are brutalized. I've got a massive bruise on my lump on my shin where I banged my knee during the obstacle race today.
I'm on point.
And
So then we
hey,
actually
Edward,
leveraged our composite
up there
technology,
where?
and we made a
Dave,
actual
Dan,
prototype of what our footpad is that we've flown here.
and
what are we looking at
yeah.
here with
So
this
I'm supposed to be at home at the moment.
It's actually pretty cool too because in Apollo,
Supposed to be at home
we
soaking
took
in
a
the bath, soaking my
ratio
sore
of
legs
the
in the
lander
my
mass that we
brutalized
had
legs
to
in
the
the
diameter
bath,
of that footpad.
but
So we
I
took
am not.
that same type of design
I am here because I just
for our lander.
I was
And that's
just
what you
at
have
home
base here.
and
And then you have a ball
I was
and
just
socket
checking
joint
stuff,
here
and
for
all
the
of a sudden
lander
I got an
to allow
announcement
it
for the
some
Blue
mobility
Ghost
when it
thing,
lands. So
and
it's in
I
a
did
stow
I
position
didn't think
that's
Mrs.
not
EV
quite,
blog would let me go
perpendicular to
because
the
it is
ground.
currently
And
half
then
past a freckle.
once it lands and
It is
starts
currently
contact with
10
the
to 7
surface,
p.m.
it'll
So it's
snap
dinner time here
perpendicular.
on a Sunday night,
Spin this around
and
here.
she's given
And
me
we
a
actually have one
pass
of the
to
connectors
come
here.
back
So
to the
we use
lab
those footpad sensors
to
turn
live
blue
stream
on your
this.
screen. What's actually
So
happening is there's a brake wire that runs up this leg to this
well, that looks
connector,
pretty bodgy,
and
doesn't
this
it?
will actually snap, and that disconnected
I'm sure
point
that's
is
not
what
fly
triggers these
hardware.
footpad sensors to turn blue.
So
very cool
can
design.
everyone
And
give
that's that
me
graphic we'll see a little bit
Yes,
later
the
on.
Australian grit.
And
True
so
Australian
from
grit.
what I understand, this
Yes,
is
I have grit.
actually
Yes, I
it's a
literally have grit
real
under my
test
fingernails. I
article
have actually
used
uploaded the video.
before
It is there.
She went into space.
Exactly.
It's in really great shape.
It is.
I-
So successful design. I mean, you can see some scratches
Oh,
on the
what?
bottom, but we
That-
don't have any major
that
dings or anything like that.
Went into space?
So, yeah, definitely very successful.
And you said that there is a way for some level
Hang
of
on,
shock absorption.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you're interested,
we are planning to touch down at
I
about
have
1
actually
meter per
uploaded
second, but
my
we are still designed for
video.
something as much as 5 Gs and only 2 legs landing. You know, we want to try to put in enough margin into this as possible so we're successful. And
So there we go. I'll post it. Haven't released it yet.
I don't actually have a piece of the honeycomb core here, but you'd actually have a cylindrical section inside
Oh,
this
the
lander leg that acts similar to something in your car that crushes. So it would be a plastic deformation of that core inside
Yeah,
of here.
the
So
chat
maybe
only
anywhere
gets
from
a couple of
centimeter to
comments.
an inch of that
Sorry.
will actually compress and absorb some of that shock from that landing.
I hope you have other goodies to show me a little bit later on because I'm fascinated by this. And as we wait to learn more about
So anyway, can everyone,
about the
yes,
mission, some
can
of our
everyone
other
give me
NASA payloads on board, we'll continue to talk a little bit more about those.
a
So another
rating on the
instrument this
audio?
month
Can
is the
you
Lunar
hear the
Instrumentation
lovely
for
lady here, and can you
Subsurface
hear me?
Thermal
Usually I want them a bit lower
Exploration,
than
or what we know
my
as LISTER.
audio.
It's
And is
equipped
there
with
any
a
like
drill and
feedback?
thermal
Because I'm playing
probe
through the
which will dig
speakers here.
up to a depth
Is there any
of
feedback
3
from their
meters
stream in
into
the
lunar
microphone?
surface
I assume you
and
can
take
hear
some
them.
thermal measurements. By making
Can you
similar
hear them?
measurements at multiple locations on the lunar
According
surface,
to my
LISTER could shed light on the
more you than
geological
them? Yeah, good.
processes
That's
that
exactly what I
shaped
want. But as
the
long
moon.
as you can hear them
Now,
in the
next
background,
up, we have the
that's
Lunar
cool.
Planet Back, which is
All is
designed with its
okay.
RGB and
They
it's
need
designed to
up
collect lunar soil
a little
samples
balance.
from
I
the
can hear you
surface
fine.
using
Might turn
burst
out the
of
video
compressed
volume a
gas
smidge.
to
Okay.
drive the soil sample into the
No
container.
echo or feedback. Could
And
up.
additional
Everyone says up it a
instrumentation will
tiny bit.
then take
Okay.
images of the container's
How's that?
contents
Is
and
that better?
transmit those results back to Earth.
That should be
The
better.
LPV payload is designed to help test low-cost technologies for collecting and analyzing samples, improving our ability to search for
probably
water,
still a bit low. Let
helium,
me
and other
up
potential
a bit more.
resources on the moon.
There we go.
We learned during the Apollo missions that lunar
They
dust
should be
or
a
regolith
slight bit
is very
low.
challenging to
Perfect.
work with.
Level is fine.
It's
And there's no
extremely abrasive
feedback.
and actually clings to everything: gloves,
Oh.
boots, vehicles, and mechanical equipment. Now, next
No
up, to
worries,
learn
Grant.
about the
I do wanna
potential
get it right,
challenges
you
that
know, I don't
dust
like,
poses to future Artemis era missions. The
Don't like
Regolith
screwing it up.
Endurance Characterization Instrument, or RAC, will measure how lunar dust
Okay,
accumulates
I'm
on
going to
different
do the
surfaces and
comments
materials.
again.
The data captured could help
because
more
it's bugging me.
effectively test, upgrade, and protect
Add
spacecraft,
source,
spacesuits,
desktop
habitats,
capture,
and
smart
equipment in
selection.
preparation for continued exploration of the moon. NASA's Lunar Magnetotelluric Sounder, or LMS, will probe the interior of the moon to depths of up to 700 miles. Now that's 2/3 of the way to the lunar center. The measurements will shed light on the differentiation and thermal history of our moon, a cornerstone
Cool
to
bananas.
understanding
Yeah,
the
this has
evolution of
lots of
solid
stuff on it.
worlds.
This Blue Ghost lander
Now, while we eagerly await that
has
next
a
milestone,
lot of packages
let's talk
on
a
it.
little more about the team.
Let
As you
me.
can imagine, there are several
did have
people
something.
that have
I've got
worked
3 screens,
tirelessly
and
to
3
make this
screens is
mission
still not
happen.
enough.
And Team
Believe it or not.
Firefly's Blue Ghost team are lovingly known as the Ghost Riders.
They are. And right now we have about 20 Ghost Riders on console at Firefly's Mission Operations Center just north
They
of
are
Austin,
Goose Riders.
Texas,
Any
that you can see on the
Mohawks?
screen
Any
right
Mohawks?
here.
There's a bald guy.
In total, Firefly has more than 50 team
I'm
leads
counting
that
on the
rotate
bald guy.
console throughout our 60-day
There's a
mission,
grey-haired guy
including
down
transit
there.
and surface
He looks like he
operations.
knows what he's doing.
These console
They all
leads
know that
represent
long-haired
key
dude here has got it
operations and
set.
Blue Ghost subsystems, including
Confidence
propulsion,
is high. I
thermal,
repeat, confidence is
GNC,
high.
avionics, payload leads, and more. They've been checking Blue Ghost health status and sending commands to the lander
And we have
throughout the
Beanie.
entire mission.
Beanie dude.
Bridget, you come to us with this kind of experience
And,
too, right?
don't
You were
know
on
what she
console
does.
For Blue Ghost launch, if I remember
She
correctly.
looks like she
and
knows
for
what she's
many
doing.
Other
They all look like they
rocket
know what they're
test
doing.
campaigns. What's it like being in that room? How does it feel?
High adrenaline, for
bet.
sure.
Anyway, we've got 36
but
minutes
it's
left.
a moment
They're
that
in
you
blackout
treat
at the
more
moment, so they're
continuously.
apparently behind the moon.
Take launch,
You
for
can't
example. As a propulsion
talk to it.
engineer,
So
you've
they're
already been
they're
hands-on with the
almost
hardware
6,000
from day
Ks
one.
an hour.
You've worked on the
And they're
valve
only
design,
82
you've
kilos.
tested the
Is that 62 or is that
subcomponents, you ran the
82?
engine development,
Is
the
that an 8 or a
qualification,
6?
The acceptance
I think it's an
campaigns.
8.
By the time that you're
Can
actually
anyone tell me
on
if that's an 8
console,
or a 6?
you've already been through so many iterations of tests.
What the hell
which
is that
all lead up
font?
to that moment. And Blue Ghost is no different. It might be our first mission.
Wow,
but
what
this
is
team
that
has
font?
already run 6 engine test campaigns.
Unbelievable.
Over 24,000 engine starts.
Wow.
Along with
It has
valve and
cameras, but
battery
only
tests,
1200
thermal vac,
kbits.
shock,
That's
and
1.2
countless
megbits.
ops rehearsals
So
simulating
live video
every
is unlikely,
off-nominal
yeah.
scenario
Does anyone
imaginable.
know
And this team is just, they're
when?
ready.
Sorry, I haven't
Everything's
researched
under
this
the
at all.
kitchen sink.
Exactly.
6?
And everyone, engineering,
it's an 8.
supply chain, business
Several
development,
people say
welders,
6. Several
all
say
came
8.
together
I don't know.
to make this happen.
Anyway, it's either 60
We
or 80
asked them
kilometres
who
above the
they dedicate
surface.
the mission to.
And
So let's listen to what they
they've
have to
been
say.
absolutely killing the social media side. Well, hello. To the
If
moon,
I could
yes.
dedicate the mission to anyone,
Ooh.
it would be the Blue Ghost engineers at Firefly.
Killer
I'd have
beard.
to dedicate it to my brother. He's very special needs, so
Right.
he doesn't get to
We get the,
necessarily pursue
we get the
a
personal
lot of
stories
these
now.
kind of things.
I'd probably dedicate it to Dr.
No
Woody
worries, Edward.
Flowers.
Thank
If I could
you.
dedicate this mission to anyone, it would be my daughter.
Early book
I would
reviews,
dedicate it to
God.
my son, Bear.
Now
He's a
works
year and a
hardware
half years
validation
old,
engineer. Awesome.
And he's named after me and
Well
my
done,
dad,
Edward.
Barry. Our names are on the plaque.
It's
on
dumb
Blue
font.
Ghost, so our names are going to be on the moon forever.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool.
It would be my
It's an
daughter.
awful
She's
font.
14 months
It's
old.
awful.
It would be
I
my
don't know
4
who picked that.
kids, Mateo, Elijah, Mia, and Isaac.
It would be my
Whew.
2 kids, Zara and Zach. I had
I don't
both
know
of
how
them
much
while at Firefly while working
fluid
on
I've
this
had
Blue Ghost
since I've been
mission.
back from my obstacle race today, but I don't think it's enough.
To anyone, I'll dedicate it to my wife and kids.
I
It would
downed an
be my
entire sports
grandpa,
drink as soon
and
as I
then
finished the
Eloise,
course because
Amelie,
they
and
gave you a
Margot,
sports
my
drink.
babies.
Then I downed
So
my
I
entire
would dedicate Blue Ghost
water
Mission
bottle
1 to-
full, and then I downed
to
an
my
entire
If I had to dedicate Blue Ghost Mission 1
electrolyte,
to anybody, it would
fluidy
be our
extra,
family and
you know,
friends.
one of those pouch
It would be my
electrolyte
parents.
fluid
It would
things.
have to be my
Down one of
parents.
It
those,
would be my parents.
and
It would be my parents.
I had a smoothie for
I
lunch,
think it has to be my parents.
and
if I could dedicate Blue
I'm
Ghost
I'm
Mission
just
1 to
still
anyone,
thirsty as.
It would be my mom.
It would be my mom.
It'd be a split toss-up between my fiance, soon-to-be wife, and mom.
If I well, toss up between the fiance and mum.
To anyone,
Don't hedge, don't hedge. Always say your mother.
If I could dedicate the Blue Ghost mission to anybody, it'd be my grandmother.
I think I would dedicate it to my parents and my wife's mom.
Oh,
Her mom
boy.
passed a couple years ago.
It'd be my dad. He passed shortly before I joined Firefly.
Oh.
So I would like to dedicate this mission
55
to the
Ks. There you go.
generations of
So yeah, it
space
was 60. It was a
I would
6.
dedicate Blue
It was a
Ghost Mission
6,
1
folks.
to every
55.55.
in
555.
high school or college, or
555
even
spot
graduated
him.
and working in a different field, who thinks that they're not good enough.
I
for space.
assume
I
that
thought the
because they
same
haven't
thing
re-established
until I tried
connection
for
yet,
it.
I assume this is not live
I
data.
wouldn't
This
do
is
it.
like just
And
extrapolated
there are
data
many,
from
many
their
people who are
last
far smarter than me
head
who
in or
feel the
whatever,
same
and
way.
based on the
So
mission
give it a shot.
profile.
Take your own moonshot. That's what I did.
I drink electrolyte. Drink capacitor electrolyte.
I'm inspired and just a little emotional after
Put
watching
hair in
this.
your
All
chest.
the Fireflies and their families have been supporting the mission, including someone who's joining us right here.
I don't know.
We
Why
have
not just
Ariana
drink the
Mary,
river
one of
water?
Firefly spacecraft
Have a
flight
look at the
software
river.
engineers.
It gave me
Hello, and I'm
gave me
sure you've
fingernails
been
that
on
look
the
like
edge
that
of
for
your
a
seat,
reason.
like the rest of us who are looking forward to
You wouldn't
today's
survive very
moon
long if you
landing.
drank that
How
river
are you
water.
feeling?
I'm feeling incredible, thank you.
Yes, Pornbot comments. Today you got a dodgy advert and then clicked on it because I was curious and it started playing pornographic content in the ad.
The mission is so
Wow.
exciting, but also because of what it means to so many people. You know,
Bonus.
we're landing on the moon. It sounds like something so outside of everyday life.
was it good porn
Honestly, for a
or
lot of
bad
people, this
porn?
has been their everyday life for the last few years. Thinking of this mission.
Nah,
They've
yeah,
met so many friends. While working
YouTube
this
doesn't.
mission.
Well,
They've
well,
met
they
their
care
partners,
because they know it gives
so
them
it's
extra
impacted
metrics.
a lot of
So
lives, and it's not even on the moon yet. So.
they care. That gives them
Worked on both
extra.
the Blue Ghost mission and
thing.
Elytra
Oh,
mission.
we've got
Can
another.
you tell me a little
We've
bit
got another
about
guest
the team
here.
dynamics? How does that work?
Yeah, there's a lot of
So
cross-pollination.
51
you know, a little
Ks
bit of
above ground
everything.
level.
The culture at Firefly
What is
honestly
ground
fun to
level
work
on the moon?
Because you have
Does
people
anyone
that
know?
are incredibly capable in their fields, but also
Should
just
ask Rock.
fun to work with. You know, everyone expects
What is
a
the
lot of
average
you.
level?
You
What
have
is
to
deemed
own
to
your
be the
piece and,
average
you know, deliver for the mission because
level?
no one can get to space
Lunar
on their
level.
own.
Is
But
there one?
at the same time,
Is there an
everyone's always
officially
willing to
accepted
lend
one?
a helping hand.
Don't know.
If you share a problem you're stuck on, or honestly even mention it in front of a lot of Fireflies, they're very eager to offer their help and make sure we can all get there together.
That's really exciting.
Yes, we're
And-
simple animals
excuse me,
according to Big
Ariana,
Tech.
I
Yes,
think
yes,
a
we
lot
work
of people
as
that are watching this are seeing
work
that
as
you're
very predictable
you
animals.
started your career at Firefly. How did you get to where you
Oh,
are? What
so
did
yeah,
you
this is
study
the
to bring you
where's
to,
I had a
to this
bloody
role?
tab open. Hang
Yeah,
on.
so I was a computer science major in college, and so not an aerospace
okay.
major, actually, and a lot of people
I can tell
don't
you
have
it
aerospace
takes,
degrees
well,
that
I
work
can
in
drag
aerospace.
it
There's
in.
a lot of jobs that are required to help
There
us
you
get
go.
there. And I applied online, and I'm not joking when I say this. I applied not thinking
Above
that I'd
deck,
get it.
unobstructed
Not
horizon
humbly,
views.
like I just
They got a
applied as an
360
exercise.
camera on the top, have they?
Almost
Shazzy
didn't do
scale
it,
payload.
and it ended up really
Yeah.
well. So I think about what would have
So,
happened if I didn't apply.
orbit
So,
operations up to
lecture
5
success, if
years.
anyone is thinking about it.
What's
Nothing
the
bad can happen,
Elantra
just give it a
transfer
shot.
vehicle?
And
I
take your
haven't looked
shot,
into
and
this, so 360
I think I
degrees
have
of
to ask
HD.
because
Oh
we
yeah,
just
I was going to
watched this
ask, does
wonderful
anyone know
tribute video.
when
Who
the
are you
after it
dedicating
lands,
this
assuming a
mission to?
successful landing, and it will be, confidence is high. I repeat, confidence is high. Will I accept their cookies? Yes, I will accept all their cookies because they are going to give me a moon landing.
And it's also
If
not
it
mine to
doesn't land,
dedicate, but I would also
I'm
give it
revoking
to
the cookies.
Other Fireflies who worked on this mission. I've watched
No,
people pour
I'll
their
keep
hearts into
the
this,
cookies
so
there
I'll
for
definitely
the
be
effort.
thinking of them when we land.
Cookies for effort.
Particular memory or
Does anyone know how long it
experience that
after
stands
the
out in mind in last
landing
few years?
that they expect first, like
years,
photo?
All I can think
first.
about is the recent events.
I mean, I assume that they'll know
there's so much
from
craziness. I've learned that,
the,
you know, all the people behind these great
telemetry
technologies
data
are
if
just
it's like
people, and
blowing
they're
into
always
P. If
fun
there's
to
no
work with.
telemetry, they know it's
Recently,
probably
honestly, the memory coming to mind
all
is
good
doing
in.
push-ups in the
Or
operations room.
do they
Once we launched Blue Ghost,
yeah,
we've had,
like
24-hour comms
you know, or if it's
since
tilted
launch,
over or
and
something
even
like that,
during
but
the
still
blackouts, once
transmitting,
we've
they might
entered
know
lunar
that.
orbit, where there's always
As
people
has
in the
happened a
room, they
couple of
never leave
times
console,
recently. A
so
couple of lunar
that's a lot
landers.
of
Apparently, it's
overnight
really
long
difficult to keep
shifts
them
since we gotta
upright.
do stuff to stay awake.
How long
That's been
does
my
it
life.
take
Nervous energy
Exactly.
maybe too.
before?
We're supposed to be swole by the time we
Yeah,
leave, so.
400
All
watts.
right,
Pretty
thank you
good.
so much for
240
being here, and
kilos.
thank you for your contributions to the mission. We look forward to talking to you after
So,
landing.
End-to-end
Clips, NASA
cis
is
lunar
buying a
services.
complete
There you go.
robotic lunar delivery
Launch
service.
services. Blue Ghost
Under
difference.
This innovative model, NASA is one of many customers
50,000
alongside
square foot
commercial
facility.
companies, universities, international partners, all with the common goal
Where's
of
the,
sending payloads to the moon. Now, there are
missions?
risks, and
Hang on,
NASA is
no.
embracing a higher level
There's
of
the
risk tolerance by leveraging commercial
Elantra.
solutions to
Right,
send
so they
rapid,
separated this one
low-cost
out,
deliveries
did
to the
it?
moon,
And that stays up there for
fostering
5
a
years?
growing lunar
Oh, is that
economy.
the
Let's take a
ranger finding? Apparently they've got like a ranging finder, range finder
We're going
thing.
back. Under this Artemis program, we're going to be sending humans to the moon for the first
I
time
think it's
since
a
Apollo. So
it is
ahead
a
of
retro
humans,
reflector, isn't
we
it?
want to get up as much science exploration and technology
Give us in the,
as
I don't know,
possible.
that's core mission values.
Facilitating a lot of the early science,
Optimized
the
for
things we want to learn
using
before we can
mission
send
payload
humans.
at 12.
CLPS stands for
What?
Commercial Lunar Payload Services, CLPS.
I don't know.
Is the key element. Ordinarily, when NASA delivers a payload,
I thought I heard something about a retro reflector. Oh God. Oh God, this is all marketing wankery. Just give me the tech. Give me the tech.
It is
Yeah,
a
the
delivery
Blue Ghost
service,
lander, we've
akin
been
to a
here.
delivery service
Give me
that
the
you
bloody
have
missions on
here
it.
on Earth.
NASA will provide payloads to a commercial company.
Blue Ghost Mission
They
1.
decide how to get it to the moon. They have to develop their own lander.
Okay.
But they also have to manage
Right.
the entire end-to-end
Yeah, we're
mission.
watching that.
It's
Yep,
meant
yep.
to provide
We're almost there.
affordable, rapid,
And here we
frequent
go, our
access to lunar
payloads. There you go.
surface through
They got
American
tons of them.
companies.
Lunar instrumentation for subsurface thermal exploration with rapidity. Lister. From Honeybee Robotics, the Lunar Planet Vac. What they're going to do is suck up some regolith. Cool. I mean, we could have a click and there's lots of next-gen lunar. The retro reflectors on the lander. Right. Okay, it's not
But we had to
in orbit.
acknowledge up front all of
Okay,
the
from the
highest
University of
levels
Maryland,
leadership
regolith
that some of
adherence
them will fail.
characterization.
These missions may not be
Yes,
as
that's a
successful as
biggie.
traditional NASA mission.
Because one of the problems, one of the huge, biggest, hugest problems of having a lunar colony and a future lunar manned missions is that it sticks to everything. Just the dust, and it's really, it's razor sharp dust, and it sticks to everything. So yeah, they're testing various materials on there. That's what that wheel does, I believe. That wheel, they're testing different materials to see, you know, how adhesive they are, and they've probably got a electrostatic thing in there too to make it repulse as well. Maybe.
And we failed 2 of them.
So yeah, that's going to be huge. That's going to be key to a lunar colony. Radiation tolerant computer. So they're testing a new RAD PC. Cool. Electrodynamic dust shield. Okay, so that's separate. Okay, I thought they
these
might have been
companies
embedded
that's
in that.
willing
It's
to
not.
bet their
It's a
mission
separate
on a
thing.
coin toss.
Can we
Every one of them
have a
is
dust
doing
shield?
what they can in
Which,
order
you
to
know,
deliver
like
most
if you can
successful
have
mission
a
possible. But
like
the
a
important thing
shield,
to
you can
realize is that
physically
risk
have
tolerance
an
does not mean risky. And the
electrostatic
rewards are long-term
shield
ability
around your
to get
hab
payloads to the moon
or whatever, then,
inexpensively,
you know,
frequently and rapidly.
or
We
your
want
suit,
science,
then
so
it
we
stops
can then
dust
put more of our
getting through.
resources on even
Could be
more
great.
science, exploration, and technology
Heliospheric
payloads
X-ray
and
imager,
get more of return on investment when we get to the
a
moon.
magnet
Provides tremendous
telluric
benefit across the
sounder.
scientific and economic communities.
Cool.
So there's a lot we'd like to learn about the moon to help
A
human habitation and
GNSS
prepare
receiver
for missions
experiment.
to Mars and
Yeah,
beyond.
because they want to
the moon
put
is the first step.
yeah, because they need GPS for the
Now
moon.
let's head over back to Tony to speak to one
Stereo
of NASA's
camera.
leaders.
Yeah, because they reckon that they can use. Apparently, there's something about. Oh, they're excited. They can actually use Earth-based GPS and the other systems out there. Apparently on the moon.
Leadership, and joining me now is the NASA acting
Apparently they figured out a way to do it.
Petro. Janet, how are you
And
feeling?
stereo
with less
camera
than
for lunar
24
plume
minutes
service.
to go until
Cool.
landing.
Look at this nice low-profile lander. I like it. Confidence is high, not that tall rubbish that we've been seeing.
Is very, very
I like
exciting.
this
So I'm
60-day
very
mission.
excited for this moment. Same here. Now, Janet, can you tell us why it's important that
So, yep.
we maintain an American presence on the moon?
Descent. Look at that.
Well, I think
That's what's
this
going to happen.
administration really
11
wants to
seconds,
keep
landing
America
guidance.
first. And I think the way that we keep
Shock-absorbing
America
legs,
first
legs,
is
great.
by dominating in all the
And
domains of
100
space,
seconds,
and
500
the
meters,
space
10
domain of
meters.
space we're going to capture to
Okay, so we're at
recently
like,
tonight
what,
is gonna
50
be
kilometers?
on
Where
the
are we?
surface of the moon and
38
around the moon. So as long
36
as we
kilometers.
keep dominating that space, I think we're
36
going to be
kilometers.
putting
So
America first.
once we
We're
hit
gonna make
20,
America proud. We're doing
that
this for the
100 to
US
20.
citizens.
Okay,
so
so
very exciting, and I really think
20
we need to
changes
keep,
modes.
pushing forward. And
to
as
Sousa
it's been
guidance.
described all this evening, that commercial lunar
Uses all
payload
engines to reduce
services
orbital velocity
program,
from 1.7 to
which
40 meters per
marries,
second and
NASA,
position itself above the
little
target
bit of,
landing site.
seed money
Okay,
with the
above,
commercial
and then what?
private
It's just going
industry,
to
bringing
drop
them forward,
from
building
20
that lunar
kilometers? That
economy,
can't be
building
right.
that economy is what's
Main
gonna
engine
make
shuts
us
off and
dominate
RCS
in and around
thrusters
the moon, so
supposed
we've
to,
got
yep.
do it.
Okay, 500
Very
meters
well
to
said.
10
Now,
meters.
you know, on this
Terminal
mission,
guidance
what
and
are
then
you
landing
most
guidance
looking
from 10
forward
meters to
learning
0.
about from all the
Descends at a
NASA
constant
science
1
that's
meter per
flying
second.
aboard? So
Okay.
there's a lot of NASA
Cool
science.
bananas.
You've heard that multiple times.
Confidence is
tonight.
high.
And you
Who
heard
reckons
about
this is going to
the,
work?
you
Snap
know, the
poll.
study of
Snap
the
poll.
lunar surface
Success
and
or
the
fail?
soil and all that.
I guess you can
But
have a
the one
50-50
payload
where
that
it's
I'm
like
most
falls
excited
over on the
about
side and it still
is the
transmits. It can do some
electrodynamic
half-assed
dust
stuff,
shield
but you know.
because
Will it land or not?
that technology was developed at the Kennedy Space Center, and I know that team is so excited to see that technology go to work on the Blue Ghost. And I think everyone remembers from Apollo the difficulty of all the dust and how it would cover the
We're now in the approach
cameras and
phase,
on
everything
the,
looking good, yep.
on the vehicle itself and the solar
69%
panels. And
chance.
so by having this electrodynamic dust shield, it'll prove out that technology, which the dust will not be a problem.
I bet it will
hopefully,
successfully
as we
hit the
go
ground.
forward.
Yes,
I'm really excited
guaranteed.
with learning of that one myself, and just like you, I'm also a Kennedy.
I'm
gal,
pretty
so
confident.
Huge shout out to the EDS team. Now, Janet, is there
I'm
any message you'd like to
85%
say to our
confident
public here
this will
as we
land.
get ready to
This will
land
be
on
a
the moon?
success.
Yeah, I would say thank you to everybody for their support, and I would also, in particular, like to thank the Firefly team. Earlier today, I was
But
talking
this is their first
to
attempt,
Jason,
though.
and he was talking
It's
about
not
his
like
team
intuitive
of people,
machines
and I
that's
got to
already
see
had
a
one
couple
attempt
of
and
them,
they
but
just
I
went
can
whoop
tell you
and
they
fell
are
over on the
motivated,
surface.
they're
Still worked.
dedicated, they're relentless.
Kind of, sort of worked.
They
But,
persevere, and they're really going to
they,
be successful. And then to the NASA
they
teams
were,
that has all worked very hard to get to this
yeah,
moment.
so they're
I
doing
want
a second one,
huge thank
and
you
I reckon they'll
shout
nail
out
the second
to
one.
NASA, the CLIPS, the Science Mission Director, for all they've done to make this moment
Betting it's a
possible.
perfect success.
Janet,
I
thank
think it
you
will hit
so
the
much
ground,
for
but
joining
question
us
is,
here
would it
today.
work
Now
after
we'll
that?
send it back to
Yeah, it's
Nilla
definitely
for
going to hit the ground.
Thank
Ground
you both for those
contact is
insights,
guaranteed.
And shout out to KSC. We are now in the final moments of descent. If you're
Final
just joining
moments.
us, this is the NASA Firefly lunar landing broadcast for Blue Ghost Mission 1 as part of the agency's Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLIPS initiative. With just
Yes,
less
this is a
than
NASA
21
funded thing.
minutes before touching down on the lunar surface,
Wonder if it
the
covered
team
all
is planning
costs. Does
to
anyone know?
The team
If it
is
covered all the
planning
costs?
to conduct that final go, no-go poll for the powered descent initiation, or PDI, in about 5 minutes. Now, while we get ready for that, I know there are a few more steps before the actual touchdown. What can we expect in the upcoming descent phases?
For our next descent phase, Blue Ghost will perform a fully autonomous powered descent initiation, which is a 9-minute braking burn that utilizes all engines to
According
reduce
to Grok,
Blue Ghost's orbital
the
velocity
NASA
from
contract,
1,700 meters per
the
second down to
CLIP
just
service
40
did not
meters
cover
per
all the
second.
costs for the,
It's during
but
this
rather
time
a
that
significant
Blue Ghost
portion of them.
uses D'Souza
So there you
guidance
go.
to position itself above the target landing site.
100
where we'll
million
pitch
buck
over from a
contract.
horizontal to a
It
vertical
apparently
orientation.
cost them more than that.
And if you're
but,
not familiar with D'Souza, it's considered
yeah.
the optimal guidance law for planetary lining. And Christopher D'Souza is credited for this. D'Souza's model is actually very similar to the guidance model used during the Apollo moon landings.
Exactly.
Compulsive yawn.
During the D'Souza guidance phase, Blue Ghost is fully autonomous.
It's fully autonomous.
We won't be sending any more commands to the vehicle until we touch down on the surface. We trust the lander to do what she was designed to do.
It's a she.
Following D'Souza,
Lander's a she.
Blue Ghost will enter the terminal guidance phase at T-minus 100 seconds to touchdown. Blue Ghost's main engine will shut off,
26
and
Ks.
our RCS thrusters will perform
Oh,
the final
it's going
descent
up.
by pulsing
No,
as needed
26.83.
to reduce our descent rate down to
26.9.
just 1 meter per second. So it's like a slow walking speed.
It's going up.
It's during this phase,
Why is it
where our
going up?
vision
Is
navigation
it supposed to be
system
going up?
is actively scanning the lunar surface, assessing things like craters, slopes, and rocks to automatically select a hazard-free target that's
Yes,
within our
it is
landing
a very
zone.
small lander.
Starting at T-minus 11 seconds to touchdown, we'll then enter the landing guidance phase. And it's during this phase where Blue Ghost's descent rate is maintained at that 1 meter per second.
And I'm already feeling those nerves. That landing descent profile has to be precise. It's very, very impressive. Now, throughout this entire descent, do you keep the engines firing or do they all shut off? What can we expect there?
Great question. So those Spectre engines we spoke about before, they're designed to pulse. They give us a very fine-tuned control during descent. Each of those engines fires 4 times in a second, anywhere from 60 milliseconds to 235 millisecond bursts. So about as quick as a bird flapping its wings or as long as a blink of an eye. Then, once the lander's foot pads detect contact with the surface, they send a signal for the engines to cut off. And what you see on the screen now is a visualization of these contact sensors to show which of those
I don't know if they receive live data or
successfully
not.
touched down on the surface.
Now, that procedure sounds so simple when you explain
So
it,
is there
but we
anyone that
both
knows
know
whether
how
or
much
not
work it got
they
to
got
get
contact
to this
again?
point. We
Maybe
know
that's what the
how we are
applause
going to
was?
land, but what
That was
will
a
we
while ago.
see? And most importantly, what about the pictures?
Yes,
So
pictures.
to set the stage, there's 2 types of antennas that we talk about here. We have an S-band antenna, which you can kind of think of as our lower resolution SD antenna, and then you have your X-band, or our high resolution. The plan is to use our S-band antenna to send our first images, hopefully within about 30 minutes of a nominal landing.
30 minutes.
But if that data rate is too limited, we're going to switch to X-band. This
Oh.
takes a little bit longer to deploy
Oh,
and calibrate,
30 minutes.
but once it's up, we're going to have
You're
a
going to have
much
to make a
faster
call to
downlink
Mrs.
for high
EEV
definition
blog and
images
say I'm not
video.
going to be home until 8 o'clock.
So that was really helpful,
Oh.
and hopefully we can expect those images to come in shortly after we touch
Hey,
down
Carrie.
on the lunar surface. So at this point
Are you getting
in
data
time,
15 seconds
we got a little preview of that landing
delay?
sequence,
Cool.
and thank you so much for sharing what we
Black
can
man's
expect.
always
I'm really
Johnny on the
excited
spot.
to see those first images.
Can you knock their volume up a
For
couple
that
of
call, for
clicks?
that go, no-go poll.
I thought we already had.
Teams have been training for this mission and are now getting
volume
ready for
was
that
already
go,
up.
no-go poll ahead of that PDI we talked about, or that powered descent
It's up a couple of
initiation.
clicks.
Here's what to expect now. If the poll's a no-go, Firefly does have another opportunity to do another orbit around the moon.
Oh, really? It can go back up.
Has begun to our final descent vector. 1 minute
Nope.
until slew completion. GNC
Now it's come back
verifies
down
step
again.
46.2.
So as I was saying, based on how this goes, if we are a no-go, then we have another shot at orbiting the moon and doing a powered descent initiation. But if we're go, Blue Ghost will take the
My
wheel
dinner will
and
be
perform
cold.
that autonomous descent operation Bridget just went over with us. Now let's
GNC
go.
verifies step 46.3.
We're gonna
Yeah,
go
I
over
think
that.
if it was going up and down like that, yeah, it has to be live data.
Perfect. We heard that 5-minute call out.
Consoles
I agree.
1 minute away from PDI go no go poll, step 47.2.
Let's tune into the Mission Operations Center and listen for that poll.
Go, no, go.
So So what y'all are seeing on the screen here are those positions in the Mission Operations Center.
Y'all.
And we'll see those
Is a Texas
light
company,
up
isn't it?
as they get
Y'all.
go or no
Welcome,
go
y'all. Oh, look at that.
And
Nice
on our
hair.
screen right now, we are seeing our flight director, right?
That's
Oh,
right.
he's
So
the flight
that's
director.
Charles right there. He's our
Charles?
flight director for this mission.
He looks serious.
All con on ops. SLU is complete. GNC verifies depth 46.4.
Right, everything continues to remain nominal as we stand by for that go, no-go pull.
All con on op. VNS is reporting position covariance below 50 meters.
And that VNS is our vision navigation system.
Thermal state is 11. We will be starting PDI at 97% state of charge.
All consoles, flight and ops.
What's
cannot be aborted.
97.8
The lander has
state of
transitioned
charge?
to descent critical. Also at this point, we're going to proceed with our power descent initiation, go, no, go, pull, starting with payload.
Go.
Com.
Go.
Ground software.
Go.
Flight software.
Flight software is go.
AVI.
AVI is go.
VNS.
VNS is go.
GNC.
Go.
FIDO.
Go.
Don't be the no-go.
Go.
Don't be the no-go guy.
Go.
Systems.
Go.
C.
Go.
FC.
Go.
All consoles, Blue Ghost landers, a go for power descent initiation.
And y'all heard it
All
from
con on
Charles.
ops. 3 minutes remaining until power descent initiation.
Nice.
We are go for the powered descent initiation. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to tune into our Mission Operations Center as the team monitors the vehicle and prepares for that final descent.
All
Now,
right.
There are some of those
She's coming
visuals
down.
that you were describing earlier in the
Because
show,
if that was a
Bridget, so you
no-go,
can see our
apparently they
countdown
could have
clock
gone back
where
up. They
we're
have
about
enough fuel to
14
go back up and do
minutes,
another
just,
orbit and
almost under 14
have
minutes
another
from
go.
landing.
So,
And we
yeah.
have that visualization of Blue Ghost as it's continuing its horizontal
Comms are essentially inaudible.
trajectory, getting
What?
ready to get into that vertical mode.
I'm hearing it just fine.
And so, like we said before, that's real telemetry
Really?
that's driving that simulation y'all are seeing on your screen here.
You guys
That
can't
yellow
hear their
vector you see
feed?
off to the left, that's
I can
pointing
hear it
in
fine.
the direction of the sun. And that blue vector there is a direction of the Earth.
And we see those footpads as well as all
Comms
of the
are fine?
engines in this image. So really exciting
Comms are
to see
essentially
our mock our Mission
inaudible.
Operations Center
Audio
as
is
well
good?
as that
No, it's fine.
data-driven
Okay.
telemetry.
Yeah. It is not low volume on stream. It's the same as mine.
All right, if you are
All
just
con on ops. 2 minutes remaining to power descent initiation.
with that 2-minute call out, if you are just joining us, this is the NASA Firefly joint broadcast for Blue Ghost Mission 1 as part of the agency's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative. We are
I can
standing
make 'em
by
louder.
as PDI process
They-
and procedures
I'm looking
do
at the bar
continue.
graph. They are the
Just as
same
a
volume as
reminder
me.
to those of you who are tuning in,
Same
the
volume as
graphic
me.
visualization that we do see is it has about a 15-second delay, and we did cover that at the top of our broadcast. So just as a reminder, there is that 15-second delay. So we may actually
34,000 people and one moderator on the Firefly stream. What is the Firefly stream saying? Is there a TLDR? Are there any trolls on there?
Continue to follow along.
The moon's not real. We never landed on the moon. The Van Allen radiation belts would kill everyone. This is fake.
60 seconds to PDI.
That'll help settle that propellant, so the propellant's where it's needed to in that fluid system for ignition.
Thank you, Flavio. Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, everyone can hear me. I think there's a few people that are having a whinge for some reason.
Fun fact, we actually use those ACS thrusters on our Alpha.
I am
launch
interested, also basic.
You know all about propulsion and engines. It's fascinating. I'm learning so much today.
30 seconds to PDI.
And there you see a couple folks on console. So that is Raj and Will
Seconds
Adams.
to
So they
PDI.
are
Let's
supporting
go back
on
to the-
TCS and prop. It's for propulsion and thermal control systems.
Here you go.
10 seconds to PDI.
Let's stand by and tune in to Mission
7.
Ops.
18Ks, yep.
6,
So we're
5,
in D'Souza guidance.
3, 2, 1.
Powered descent. Yep. Oh, sorry, it's under my head. It's popped up, powered descent initiation. So I can move my...
So the lander is
head there.
performing
There
that
you go.
9-minute powered
Powered
descent
descent
initiation,
initiation.
using all of its engines to reduce. And you can see that on the simulation right there with
Main
the
engine
engines
out.
going. main engine is on. We see that
Descent critical.
So this simulation comes from the
call outs going on.
comes from their the telemetry data they plug it into
Teams
a
have been
thing.
practicing
So,
for this moment, and we see that
and I'm
taking
sure if there
place
was
right
one
now.
like
And
engine
this
out,
is
it'd
where
show it
the
out.
lander is positioning itself closer
So,
and
Ignition
closer.
temperature's nominal.
Nominal callouts.
Guidance mode, D'Souza, 48.1 confirm.
And you heard that D'Souza guidance.
Attitude and rate errors look like they converge back to nominal after the transition.
we are in the D'Souza guidance mode,
Current
down to
dry is
500 meters, and then terminal guidance.
Tank pressure is stable, props nominal.
Sounds terminal.
And remember, this burn lasts.
VNS is stable.
So
nominal.
then they'll have 100 seconds left to land that sucker.
Navigation filter is well behaved.
Oh, you want a well-behaved navigation filter? Absolutely. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
You just heard the call.
Confidence
that
is
stable
high.
as well.
I like the fact that they've got like this sun thing here. That if you can't read that, it says sun, and they've got like the direction of the sun is on the solar panel.
Ops, 9 minutes remaining to pitch over. 455 kilometers south of the target, 16 kilometers above it.
We're reducing our velocity down to 40 meters per second in this burn. And so on that gauge, what you'll be looking for is about 144 kilometers per hour.
And just as folks are tuning in right now, our PDI is actually that braking burn. So we're continuing to slow our speed down and bring the vehicle from a horizontal configuration or horizontal orbit into a we're pitching over the lander into a vertical configuration.
Exactly.
Yeah, because at the moment it's horizontal.
All of our RCS engines are firing at a mid
it's
to
literally
high
like
throttle
it's
here.
coming into the moon
Anti-velocity
like
direction
that, and
to
then
slow
they'll
us
pitch it
down,
over,
shedding all of that horizontal velocity, like you're
and
saying.
then it'll start coming in vertically. So about 8 minutes left before it enters the
8 minutes
terminal
remaining
guidance.
to pitch over. 370 kilometers south of the target, 17 kilometers up.
Oh, is it pitch in there?
So 1 minute completed of that
Oh,
9
thought I
minute
saw it
braking
move.
burn.
Come on, you can do it.
Alcon and Ops, VNS is passing over a shadow.
And so what you guys see on the screen here.
Yeah, the
is
IM2,
that
the Intuitive
graph
Machines,
taking
the
us through
second
all of the
lander.
different
I was
phases
bummed that
of
the first one
landing.
didn't do it.
We are
But it's
in
so
that
bloody
power
tall.
descent initiation.
But it hit a rock and it just bit.
VNS
And
past the shadow. and
yeah,
confirming
so I really hope they
turning
nail
to
the
lower
second one.
covariance.
Main engine temperatures continue to rise.
But you got to remember that this is Firefly Aerospace's first shot. This is their first go at doing this. But so far, everything's been perfect.
Excited.
Everything's been
nervous,
absolutely perfect.
anxious.
I just got a
Lots
beep
of
on my
feelings.
7 minutes to pitch over. 290 kilometers south, 16 kilometers up.
GNC flight and ops, verify 48.2 when ready.
Wilco.
So we are seeing our various folks in the Mission Operations Center that are continuing to follow along during this braking burn
13.8.
called
Oh,
Power
it's going up.
Descent Initiation, or PDI.
It's going up again.
All operations continue.
Engines trimming out, target achievable, 48.2 confirm.
Target achievable.
Batteries at 92%.
So it's not good. Batteries at 92%. So it's not going to overshoot.
You're going to see that's 100%
I assume that's
of
what
those
that means.
teammates with us
It's-
from ASI and Space NG.
Keeps going up and
So you're
down.
seeing folks from ASI,
Keeps going.
GNC1, GNC2,
Or-
FIDO, you got Space NG.
Because
with
it's currently
vision navigation
horizontal.
systems.
The moon's here. Moon's here. It's
6
currently
minutes remaining until pitch over.
flying in.
222 kilometers
Spared no
south,
expense on
15
the
kilometers up.
animation. It's currently flying in like this, and then it will pitch
This is
over,
crossing over the
and
final
then
ridge as we enter the marker zone.
We're getting closer and
contact
closer
with
to
the
our
moon is
landing site,
guaranteed
Mare
at this
Crisium,
point.
on the northeast part of the moon, on the side that faces us here on Earth. Now there is a NASA console position as well.
Why is it not slowing down?
That's right.
It's
They're on the opposite side of the room, probably in the corner the camera can't
Good
see
point.
right here.
anyone why
And
it's
that's to
well.
conduct all of the 10
They seem to
payload surface
their
operations over the
window
course of
was
the next
spot on. Apparently,
14
they're still on
days or
target
1
for the
year.
window. So this has to be the speed to get to the
And I think that's
The target
Farah, right?
location.
That is
Filter looks
Vera.
nominal, and Star Tracker is still in lock.
Who's
So
that?
she's sitting in our payload seat. So she is. She's been phenomenal on this
Power is
mission,
nominal.
and she's been with all of the payloads since the beginning.
I
That's the
remember
payload
interviewing
chick.
her for our podcast, and she was phenomenal. She knows these payloads like the back
Oh,
of her
5
hand.
Slow
minutes
down
remaining
to
until
send, did
pitch
it?
over. 140
I missed
kilometers south, 13 kilometers up.
So Farah's there tracking the health of the payloads and making sure everything is performing as expected.
Absolutely. Yep. And we
No,
actually
don't
have
care
3
about the payloads
on
at this
site for
stage.
landing. We have EDS,
No, except for the
Lister,
camera.
LPV.
We want to
The rest
land
will
him
be
and we want a
remote.
photo, damn it.
So 3 out of the
All the
10
payloads
payload
are expendable
teams
at this
are
point.
currently near the
On
Mission
site.
Operations Center on site, and the remainders have their own control centers in other locations.
It is slowing down, just slowly. Okay. Oh, yeah.
And so this is a primary
might be.
operations
DNS is
center.
seeing drops to validate.
No worries, Grant.
They
Back to
actually
global.
Flat out like a lizard
there's
drinking.
backup rooms upstairs too for secondary.
Oh, you're going to like my video.
extra data review.
Everyone says they like repair videos.
Minutes
I've got a
remaining to pitch
winner
over.
chicken
110
dinner
kilometers
repair
south,
video.
10 kilometers up.
It's one of the
On the
most
screen right now,
satisfying,
you see Joseph
interestingly
Marlin and Will
satisfying
Coogan. These are our
repair videos I've
CVs,
done.
Our chief engineers.
You'll like it. Very simple fault,
A fun
but you will
fact,
be
Will
guessing
Coogan
until
actually
the
spoke
very
carpenter
end
before he
what
went
actually
back to school
failed.
for his
Seeds
PhD.
that were in validate.
No one will pick it. I reckon when you're watching it, no one will
Having
pick it.
all these
Haven't started
varying
editing the footage
backgrounds
yet.
really helps you in
but it's
your
done.
current work. So it's really impressive to see this team coming together. And not only are we seeing the teams in the room,
Hyping
but
influencers
there are
on the
folks
stream.
that are
Well,
in back rooms, as you mentioned, that are also supporting this mission.
730
90%.
chance. Yeah, I
Exactly.
put it at 85%.
we see
The
that
the
speed has
vibe
come
is
down.
good. It's all about the
DNS now sees
vibe.
back at global generating
8.1
solutions.
kilometers. Yeah,
That's 7
21. Yeah, she
kilometers
is slowing down.
from the surface. That
Does
breaking
anyone know
burn
what the blue and
Common
green
ops.
over
3 minutes
here
remaining
is?
until pitch over. 67 kilometers south, 7 kilometers up.
getting closer and closer to that lunar
System temperature
surface.
still nominal.
I see. That's the okay. That's kilometers per hour, and that's what's the blue one?
Errors still nominal.
Like we were saying before, the Fireflies, we don't sit still.
Yeah, I'm
in
not
one
sure how long.
position, one
It's
roll,
probably
two
going to be a
roll, so we do
longish repair
for sure
video,
have a lot
but
of
I don't want to cut
cross-functional
anything
teams
out
here.
because this one's really about the
There
hunt.
we have
You
our
know,
flight director back
so
tracking this mission. I'm appreciating the call outs. They're easing my nerves a little bit right now too.
using a chemical or electrical motor, I don't know.
So that spacecraft, as you can see on the graph right now, is getting ready to continue that braking burn and that pitch over to put it in that
DNS is
vertical.
reporting position covariance below 25 meters.
He did an iPhone repair video.
2 minutes
Really?
remaining to pitch over. 35
Was it
kilometers
his own
south,
personal
4
iPhone?
kilometers
He
up.
got pissed that it broke. Nice.
We are standing by for continuation of that powered descent initiation or braking burn.
The problem with fixing iPhones and stuff like that is you've really got to have experience doing it. You know? It's like,
This is
yeah,
where
you can be
all
a good
engines
repair
are
tech, but if you've
firing
never done one before,
to pitch.
you have no idea about anything. So, yeah. So, yeah, you can't beat someone who repairs them every day.
Do you know what seat's missing, what subsystem?
What are we missing?
I didn't get zapped in this one.
Flight laser rangefinder has measurements.
Yeah, because they're using the laser rangefinder to know how far above the surface they
1
are,
minute
so it
remaining
sounds
until
good.
Pitch over.
So
13
1
kilometers south, 2 kilometers up.
Okay, we're under 1,000 k's an hour. 1.8 kilometers.
We'll
It's
actually
dropping
add
fast.
that mechanisms and
A
structures
minute.
seat
Power
in.
is nominal.
A minute,
Right
and we
after
enter.
landing.
A minute,
Alex
and we
Kaplan
enter
is
terminal
our
phase.
engineer there, and he's designed all 3 mechanisms on board the lander that he helped also build and test.
Who's that?
Those subsystems become much more prominent after landing, so we'll see him come in later.
Oh. All right.
So we do see that graphic come up. We
500
talked about
k's an
earlier
hour.
with the
A
lander
kilometer.
footpads,
We're
so our
approaching a
contact
kilometer
lines
above the
legs
surface.
will turn
DNS position covariance
And
below
it is
5 meters.
pitching
30
over.
seconds remaining to pitch over.
Moon
4 kilometers south,
is
900 meters
pitching
up.
over.
So those will turn blue once we've confirmed some level of contact.
Okay,
We'll
they're the
continue to
contact
track
pads.
as we get closer and closer
So they will turn blue.
to the lunar surface over the course
Cool.
of the completion of this PDI. You can see the graphic on the screen demonstrating that Blue Ghost is
Confidence
getting
is
into
high,
that
I repeat.
vertical configuration and doing
Confidence
that
is
pitch
high.
over as expected.
500,
And engine
500
off.
meters.
Terminal guidance.
Yep, terminal
500
guidance.
meters up.
Whoa, it's pitching over. Don't pitch too far.
From here on out, it is just going to be those
400
Spectre engines.
meters.
It's fully autonomous.
Now, just as a
So they're in
reminder,
terminal
those,
guidance phase.
Spectra engines that we see firing right now on our
GNC and
screen,
BNS flight out certified
300 meters.
they are doing those pulses.
50 k's an hour.
PNS is relative.
260 meters up.
First redirect occurred, 98 meters from original target.
1 minute remaining in flight.
Woohoo!
Vehicle is converged on its commanded descent profile.
Landing just on
we're in
RCS
that
power.
autonomous phase that you had described to us.
You just
She
made it in
is
time.
Ready and has been preparing for
100
this.
meters. It's almost 100 meters.
You're going to hear a lot of call-outs here about vision navigation solutions.
The pointy end, the flamey end is
100
down.
meters up.
And
health
let's
of systems.
Navigation filter is still healthy.
They're going to do it.
Second
The
hazard
nav filter's
avoidance
still good.
occurred 5 meters from previous target.
50
5 meters
up.
from target.
30 seconds remaining in flight.
So it's pretty much, it's not quite hovering, but slowing down to 1 meter a second.
49.4.
Copy.
They're going to do it. They're going to do it.
Verified.
11 meters up.
These pads should turn blue. This pad should turn blue in 3, 2, 1. Millie. 3. 3 pads. Three contact pads. Why is there only 3?
Vehicle in shutdown.
Engine shut down.
3 contact sensors tripped.
Engine shutdown confirmed.
What happened to the force sensor, faulty sensor? If you've got 3,
Our nominal vehicle is charging.
IMU reports lunar gravity and it is stable.
lunar gravity, it's stable. Touchdown.
Oh, Conch,
I think that's official.
Ops. Y'all select the landing. We're on the moon.
They're on the moon. Well done. They did it. Well done.
Aerospace just became the first commercial company in history to complete a fully successful moon landing.
Wow.
Congratulations to the entire
First
team.
commercial
This is
company
such an incredible
to
feat
do a
for
successful
Firefly,
moon landing and on the first
NASA,
go.
our nation, and the world as we pave the way for a
Wow.
lasting lunar presence.
Told you, 85%. I called it.
Bridget. And to our Firefly and NASA teams.
Wow.
What a nail-biting
So do we have a
moment in
faulty sensor?
history. The
Just
joint
one of
teams
them.
are now celebrating or enjoying this much-deserved celebration.
So it was getting lunar
Austin,
gravity,
Texas.
which means it's not moving at all. So it was getting lunar
This
gravity,
marks the beginning of the next phase of the mission, surface operations.
and it was stable on the surface with 3 contact pads. I assume it's one failed pad.
I am so proud of our team. Firefly has a way of constantly
They
exceeding
landed it.
expectations.
Unbelievable.
This is
Well
a
done.
perfect example of that. Over the last 4 years,
Yes,
so
and
many
SpaceX for the
dedicated Fireflies
launch as well.
across different
Yes, for
teams
the
and
Falcon
disciplines
9
came
launch.
together
They
to make
launched
this
another.
happen.
Wasn't it a
Now
Japanese
we have
one?
a
Lunar
permanent
probe at the same
presence
time
on the
on the
moon
same
with
mission?
every employee's name engraved on a Blue Ghost plaque. So now when we look up at the moon, we can tell our kids and future generations that their family name is up there. Thanks to this
Wow.
team and everything they have achieved. But it's
They did it.
not over. We will
Fantastic.
be operating the payloads and
Live
gathering
footage would have
even
been so much
data
more
that will
exciting,
make
yeah.
an even larger impact
Yep.
on the future
Is
of
it
space
this one?
exploration.
Or is it no? Or is it the
Congratulations.
Intuitive
And now
Machines
this lunar
lander
lander
that
is
has
gearing
the
up to
3
conduct those surface
multiple
operations and
cameras,
downlink that
stereoscopic
anticipated
cameras on the
image
landing, so
from
they're
the
going to
lunar
get like a
surface.
stereoscopic
So while we
view of how
stand
the
by
lunar
for that,
dust blows
we have
up.
Tony back with some guests from
I don't think
NASA's
that's this
Science
one, is
Mission
it?
Directorate.
I
Tony.
think that's Is that Intuitive Machines?
Look at me right here.
No, you can't have a live telescope shot because you can't, with the telescope, you can't see. Even with the Hubble telescope, you can't see, a thing that's a meter across on the moon.
Thank you, Nilofer and Bridget. Now joining us is Associate Administrator for the Science Mission Directorate, Nikki
Do
Fox.
we want to hear
and
them?
then the
I'll turn their volume
Deputy
down a bit.
Associate Administrator for Exploration with NASA Science Mission Director, Joel Kearns. Nikki, Joel, I mean, what a momentous occasion. How are you guys feeling?
Too many lunar landers these days. Yeah, from Texas company, first commercial company to successfully land on the moon. Wow. On their first attempt.
I mean, what a huge congratulations to everyone. Now, Nikki, can you tell us a little bit more about why this landing location was chosen and why
She's high as a kite on happiness.
Is
So
on
she
the near
should be.
side, compared to when some other
Nice
landing
jacket.
sites are chosen
Like
for
the
other of our
jacket.
Eclipse
Like the
flights?
NASA jacket.
Yeah, absolutely. We choose.
What one
I'm
knows?
sorry, I'm just so excited right now. But we
NASA
choose
SMD.
our
What's
landing
SMD?
sites very carefully. Our Eclipse landers will go to the South Pole,
He's
to the
the
near side, to the far
Deputy
side.
Associate
This
Administrator.
one is a really perfect location. We want to study the geological features on the moon. We want to study the interaction with the solar wind. We want to just learn
So
more
it looks
about
like
the
we're going to be,
regolith.
someone
We
said
wanna
30
be able to
minutes.
prepare
I think they
for
said
our
30-ish
future
minutes
astronauts to
from
go
an
and keep
image.
them safe. And so we
But it
we
seems
chose the
upright.
science instruments perfectly.
But
to go
one
to this
sensor,
incredible place on the moon.
who's voting on that? Just a faulty sensor or something, faulty contact sensor, or is it physically there's just a little divot there in the moon dust and it's not making, and it's only balanced on 3?
So we're landing in a place that's of great scientific
No, it
interest,
wouldn't,
but
would
was
it?
also
It'd just
a very achievable place to
it'd
land.
be
And there are
teeter-tottering, wouldn't
studies
it?
that range from studies of the sun that we'll conduct from the surface of the moon.
If you've only got
studies
3,
of the abrasive,
so it depends on the weight
dust
distribution.
of
I'm
the
sure it's pretty
regolith.
even.
We're going to drill into the surface. We're going to pick up regolith. It was going to answer so many questions over
Yeah,
this
I thought it
one
looked
lunar
kind
day
of
one mission. It's gonna
Artemis
be really one for the
suity.
history books.
Right.
That's right.
Based on the
and
Artemis
speaking
suits.
then about
Yeah,
all
cool.
Those questions that we're going to answer. Nikki, tell us, what then of the science and data that we learn on the moon, how can that help us back here on Earth?
So there are so many ways that, everything we do
Landed
in
on a
NASA
cliff
science
edge.
is so interconnected. We study everything from the center of the
Yeah,
sun
there'll
to the
be
edge of
pics-
the universe.
pics in like
Right
30
now,
minutes.
Focusing on the moon, learning more about particularly things like, how that regolith, how it sort of interacts when we land, what the plume looks like, how sticky
Did someone
it is,
find oil
if
on the
we
moon?
can
Yeah, there's so
clean
many
it off
bloody
those
probes going.
surfaces.
It's great.
Just telling us all
Man.
about that. For us here
great.
on Earth, all this technology that we're sending up to the moon
Pixies
continually
fell out of the switch
all
for the
has
4 sensor.
real-world
Yep.
applications as well. And so everything that we do,
Can we
coming
fast
back
forward the
and
stage
serving
talk? Well,
humanity and
no,
inspiring the
unfortunately.
world with NASA
I can turn it down.
That's right, we sure are. That's really fascinating. Talking more about, some of the scientific instruments that we're sending. As we know, Joel, some of those science instruments have flown on prior Eclipse flights, and they're also scheduled to fly on future ones. Why is that? Why do we choose some of the same instruments for
We're in
certain flights
2025 and no video, fake. Well, you've only got limited data rate. Seriously, it's still not easy,
Or even
Still
with our
not easy.
robotic surveyor craft from the 1960s. There were a bunch
The guy
of
looks so
measurements
left out.
we really want to take to characterize overall around the moon. Sure, especially the South Pole where our astronauts will go initially. But there are particular scientific questions where you have to take the same measurement on the
Wow.
near side or the far side.
They did it.
in a
Absolutely
mare,
unbelievable.
One of these frozen lava pools as opposed to the Highlands Mountains to really understand the moon and based on that to better understand Earth.
I can't
We
wait
we
for
don't
that.
know about
Nikki,
the
talk to us then about some of the lessons learned
SLS at the
then
moment.
that we have,
It's still up in the air.
from now
They haven't
on,
really
other
made a
Eclipse
decision
flights
on
that were applied
SLS.
for this
So
one or, for the future ones.
Oh.
Yeah, I think one of the amazing things about our Eclipse providers is they are all there for one another. Even today, Jason was sharing stories about what some of the other
the moon now is 4G.
sending good luck
They're
to
using it to
Firefly
communicate with the
today.
rover and the
It is
hopper.
just an amazing community, and that is what we wanted to do with
Cool.
the Eclipse program, was really get this sustainable commercial lunar.
They did it before Musk.
economy
Musk
and
is
have
not
it
trying to
led
land
by American companies, and that's
a
so important
well
to us. As
Starship,
Joel said earlier,
but that's
we're not doing this as
that's
NASA.
it's
We're
a bigger
doing this
thing.
in partnership
Musk
with
isn't
these
trying to land a
American companies.
probe.
And so, just seeing the
Landing a
community
Starship is
that
very
we're
different to
building
landing a
is
probe.
just
And
so
Starship just can't
amazing.
go there on
And
itself
so
and just land.
congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, very well.
Well,
put.
technically
I
it
mean,
can
to
if you
both of
refuel it 10 times.
How are you guys feeling right now that we're on the moon?
I don't know, it's all in a day's work, isn't it? Really, it's, it's
Yes.
a fun day. No,
We
honestly, it
want
is
the
so
we don't want the
amazing.
CEOs. We
We
want
were
the
standing
engineers.
outside watching it, and Joel
Yep.
was getting instant,
We want
feedback
technical
from
breakdown.
all those amazing people
I don't.
as
Yeah,
well.
I don't want this stuff.
And
I
it's
want
just incredible
the
to-
technical
it
people
was
in the
just-
background
I
to
don't
be
know,
giving us
seeing it
live
come down
updates
and
on
then
the
you
data
suddenly
they're
go,
receiving.
Oh my God, it's 5
That's what I want.
kilometers above the surface, and so it's just an amazing achievement.
Looking forward to Scott Manley's review. Yeah, I'll watch Scott
everyone in this
Manley as
room,
well.
because you all
Love Scott
had
Manley.
part in putting this lander on the
He's
moon.
really
Whether
killing
you're
it.
a Firefly or whether you're a family member of a Firefly.
You wonder what
whether
Thunderfoot
you're
thinks
a
of
member
this.
the
Well,
amazing NASA
it doesn't
science
involve
team.
Elon, so it's fine.
Congratulations.
When is Musk going to enable the internet for the moon? Well, they could. They could. They could technically put Starlink around the
Thank
moon.
you, Joel, so much for joining us. Now we'll
Actually,
send it back
probably
over
not,
to our hostess,
in the scheme of things, probably not that hard.
Welcome back for those just joining
We're
us.
back.
Firefly successfully touched down on the moon in an upright, stable condition, becoming the first commercial company
Upright,
to
stable.
complete a fully successful moon landing. We expect to have the first image within the next 10 minutes, depending
10
on
minutes.
the signal strength of our S-band antenna. The timing will
Go
vary
the
based on the
S-band
position
antenna.
of our lander and the ground
Come on,
stations on
you
Earth.
can do it.
If the S-band data rate is limited,
Have
we'll likely
they
need to
got the
switch
Parks
over to
dish
that
pointed
X-band
at it?
antenna.
Let's get the
which
big,
needs to be
let's get the
deployed
big
and
dish pointed
calibrated.
at this sucker.
At that point, we'll plan to share the first image during our press conference in a few hours.
And I don't know about you, but we're on the edge of our seat waiting for these first
Okay,
pictures.
I'm going to have to call Mrs. EV Blog
How are you
for
or
permission
how does it feel
to stay back
knowing
for the
that
photos, I think.
Firefly is leaving their mark
hang
on the moon?
I'll just mute.
I don't
my
think
mic.
there's another feeling that even remotely compares to this right now.
I'm sure you've been. So, you know what? I have to ask, because we talked all about the engines. We saw that great visual data telemetry. I know you have something else to show us. Do you have anything else
I
here?
always have goodies. I always have props.
You did work on our engines.
We love hardware here. Let's take a second here
We're
to
just
get
doing
out.
a quick safety briefing on, or a safety practice on something that Bridget has for us to see today. Oh, this is cool.
It is cool. Oop, let's move this out of the way here. All right, so I love talking about Spectre. This is that 200 Newton Hypergol engine. You will notice I am wearing gloves.
Right.
The Hypergol propellant is actually a toxic propellant, and while this has been completely decontaminated, we still want to take safety precautions just in case. But yeah, you can tell that so there are, if you want to actually show on that lander, but there are 8 of these engines on the lander. So we have pairs.
I like this
on
chick.
each
She knows
side.
her stuff. She is one of the
Right there.
one of the engineers, I think.
All right.
Exactly.
The one
so
on
we
the
see
right.
our 8, and those are the Spectre engines that we see right here. Got it.
And so, and then these are, it's a biprop engine, so we have
I'm allowed to stay,
two
by the
different
way.
propellants here.
Okay.
And because it's Hypergol, we don't need a
Mrs.
third
EV
ignition
Blog's
source.
very
They
good.
just
Shout out to
ignite
Mrs.
on
EV
contact
Blog,
with each
who
other,
doesn't
which is
watch
pretty cool.
any of
And
my
these are
content.
our Kraken main valves. We love to have fun names here at Firefly. And then it'll go through the injector here, combust in that thrust
This is
chamber,
what we want.
and then expand out through the nozzle. It's
This is
pretty
the
impressive.
torque we
So
want.
this is what the team designed, developed, tested, and built in about a 2-year time frame.
And these 8 Spectre engines, those were the ones that were firing in those quick pulses, like you described, like a bird flapping its wings, or at
Is that
the blink
actual
of an
size?
eye.
Good point.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably.
So they just
Probably.
continue to iterate and pulse
Sure
just
it
like
is.
that.
You've taught me a thing or two on these engines. I really appreciate that, Bridget. So how are
Bridget.
you going to be celebrating this moment with your family, with your friends, with your fellow Fireflies?
I'm going to go home and give my kids a great big hug, first off, and then maybe sleep a little bit. All right, and so while we wait for that photo to come in, we're going to go back and check into the stage with Tony.
No,
Hey,
not to
thank
the
you,
stage.
Bridget.
No.
We are now here with Jason Kim, the Chief Executive
Oh, he's the
Officer for Firefly.
He's the CEO.
Jason, congrats on landing on the moon.
I haven't heard him
To all of
before.
our Fireflies.
How does it feel? How is it, how are you and the Firefly teams feeling right now?
They're just fired up right now in the mission control room. I mean, they were just pent up, holding it all in because they were calm and collective and cool the whole time. Every single thing was
I'm
clockwork.
glad they nailed
even
this.
when
We
landed.
really, because there's been
and
like
then
2 in a row.
After we
that have-
saw
what, is it
everything was
3 in a
stable
row?
and upright,
Lunar landers that have failed
they
in
were
some way.
fired up. They were fired up. We got some moon dust on our boots.
That's awesome. And now you can use the EDS shield, EDS payload to take that off.
Yes, I love that EDS payload. I love all the payloads.
Absolutely.
All
We
10
love
of them.
all 10 NASA payloads. That's right. Jason, this is Firefly's
Yeah, I was wondering why
first
she had
moon
the. I
landing.
assume that she had
What
the
message would you like to give to the
a
team
glove
that have
on
worked
because
so
that was a
hard
real
on this
engine.
mission?
And it,
Well, I'm
yeah,
just in
there could be
awe of
some
all of
fuel.
them. I've been that way since I
Residue in there.
witnessed the company, during their launches, and then finally with this whole campaign. I'm just in awe of all of our Fireflies and just all the hard work that they put into this, all the extra sacrifices they did from their family and friends. So thank
The
you
video
to
of the
all
landing,
family and
yeah, they
friends.
got video orbiting the moon,
all
but
that
they
design
didn't. That
work,
wasn't
all the
live
testing,
telemetry.
all
That was downloaded
simulation,
later.
It finally paid
It
off.
was like it was
And,
downloaded. It
we're
wasn't.
just
It
so
wasn't
glad
streamed
and
live.
happy for our
As far
team.
as I'm aware.
Absolutely.
So-
And now, you're on the moon. I mean, Blue Ghost
I'm
is
sure
finally on the moon. What do
Whackman
you
said they
think,
only
or
had a
what do you
1.2
hope that
megabit
this mission
rate,
means, or this
data rate.
message sends to all the aspiring and future engineers and scientists that are looking to one day enter the aerospace industry?
Well, if you
But
look
they've
at
got to
everybody in
upload
that
not
mission
just the
control
images.
room
They've
and
got to
everybody at
upload a
our
whole
company,
bunch
you
of
don't have
data.
to always be a rocket scientist, although we have some
That's
great ones at the
technically
company.
more important than the image.
We have people from all
So-
walks of life. And in that control
You know,
room,
the,
people that started
regular-
off
the,
with music careers
Joe
or
Average wants to see the
seamsters
image,
or
but
welders,
the-
they're all from
for
all
the-
kinds of careers, and they just landed
But
on the
all the
moon. So,
engineers, they want to
you know,
see,
we hope this
and the
inspires
company,
the next
they want to see
generation
the telemetry
of
first.
kids and STEM, K through 12, because,
So I'm
have
sure
them
they're
dream big.
prioritizing
You never
that.
know where you're going to land. We just landed on the moon. So we hope that the Fireflies today inspired a whole generation.
That's right. There's space for everyone in space.
That's right. And especially
Yeah,
Texas.
but in 1969, have you seen the
It was
size of the
discussed
dish?
earlier, Firefly
we had
not only
for
develops
that?
lunar landers, but you guys also build and
It's huge.
launch
It wasn't on a
rockets.
tiny
Can
lunar
you tell
lander.
us a
It
little bit
wasn't
more
on a
about
tiny
what
lander
else
like
is in
this.
store for the Firefly team?
And
Well,
I've done
you
a
know,
video on this.
right after this, we're gonna
how
get
they got
ready
the
for
moon.
our
I've done a
first
video on
launch
how
of
they
the
got the
year.
moon
We're gonna
images
launch
back.
our
It was
one-ton
500
rocket called
kbits per
Alpha.
second.
It's America's rocket.
I think
and we're
around
gonna
about
launch,
that. It was 500 kbits per
We're
second,
gonna
which they
launch
fitted that
Lockheed
lunar
Martin's
image in.
LM-400.
That was
it's
the
their
bandwidth they had.
mid-class satellite. It's a beast, and we're just honored to launch that satellite. And we're going to launch multiple times this year. Things like Victus Haze for True Anomaly, and there's other Space
Peter
Force
Beck
missions
just
that we have.
congratulated them.
So we're
Yeah.
going to continue to launch at cadence. And then we're
Excellent.
delivering our medium launch
Indeed.
vehicle first stage by the end of the
As
year.
in the movie, The
we just
Dish.
finished our
The Dish is
first
great.
stage
If you
launch
have not
tank,
seen
so
The
we're
Dish,
incredibly proud
an
of that.
Australian movie
And
about
then,
how they recorded
we're
the
working on
moon
Blue Ghost 2,
landings,
Blue Ghost 3
then,
as well. So we're not done.
watch
we're
it.
not finished with these
Watch
moon
it.
missions.
It's great.
And
It's
I think
hilarious.
there's this
It's
Electra spacecraft that
historically
we don't hear
accurate.
too much about.
Well,
that's a
kind of.
space maneuver
But
vehicle.
it uses accurate hardware and
and
stuff. It's
we're
really
gonna
good.
launch the inaugural
It's
one
great.
this year for a
The Dish is
responsive
great.
NRO mission.
You got a lot of things coming up. I mean, do you have a
No,
favorite?
the actual landing.
My
The
favorite is
actual
always the
landing was
next
at
one.
Honeysuckle
The next
Creek.
launch, the next
Honeysuckle
lunar
Creek
lander,
is the
next
dish.
Very well
Pun intended,
put.
is
You
the
know,
dish
I know
that
we're all
actually
very much
received
looking
the
forward to that. Jason,
the lunar
thank you
is
so
the
much.
actual,
I mean,
one
everyone
small
here is
step for
so
man
excited.
video.
Can we get another cheer for
The
the crowd?
Honeysuckle Creek one, and then they switched over later to the dish at Parks, the big dish at Parks that had
Alrighty, well, we'll go ahead and
better
send it back
bandwidth.
to our hostess,
But,
Nilofer
yeah,
and Bridget.
it was just the way they
Thank
were
you,
aligned.
Tony, and
or
thank you,
whatever.
Jason. Congratulations once again. If you are just joining us moments ago, Firefly became the second American commercial company to touch down on the moon with its Blue Ghost lunar lander. Now, while we're standing by right
I
now
agree.
for that
A few
first
videos
moon
would
image,
have,
which we
you know, a
expect
few
in the next
is still
15
images.
minutes or so.
Yeah.
So while
Sure,
we wait, Bridget, do you mind giving
You've-
us a
you've
little
got
bit
to
of a
prioritise
preview
stuff,
on
though.
what's next for this mission?
Yeah, sure. So this is going to be the beginning of our surface operations. Within the next 2 hours, Blue Ghost will perform surface commissioning in order to activate each subsystem and perform health checks. We'll also deploy and calibrate that X-band antenna that we spoke about earlier. That's going to increase our bandwidth and begin downlinking HD imagery and video. And then following surface commissioning, we're going
the
to begin
X-band,
those
they couldn't do it
14
for some
days
physical reason.
of the
They have to
payload
calibrate
operations.
it. They have to deploy it
Great,
and
so
calibrate
that
it or something.
includes
So they've only got the little
deploying
piddly
that
S-band
surface
job.
access arm with the lunar planet vac sample.
And they need that for the
that
telemetry.
little vacuum to
When you're
collect some
landing.
samples.
The last
Right
thing
up
you
there,
need
and
is
you
an
can see
image.
on the screen.
You just don't have it.
And then Blue Ghost is also going to deploy 4 tethered lunar magnetotelluric sounder electrodes, or LMS, on the lunar surface,
Cool.
in addition to a mast on Blue Ghost's top deck, which stands
Little
2 meters above the lander
drill.
to help study the deep interior of the moon.
I want to know why we've only
We'll
got
also
3
begin
landing legs.
subsurface drilling operations with the Lister payload that remains attached to Blue Ghost.
$200 for the stage chick's jacket.
So that will be
I think
really
you have
great.
to pay a lot
after
more
the
than
first
$200 for the
image,
jacket.
there's a lot more to come from over the 14 days of surface operations, literally. There's that solar eclipse that the team expects to capture on March 14th, where the Earth blocks the sun from the moon's surface. And then we also have a few days later to capture that lunar sunset we discussed early on in the broadcast, but
They
that
did it.
is
Unbelievable.
expected on March 16th, where
It's
it will
great.
verify that dust
We really
levitation
needed this win.
phenomenon
Like,
that
as in
was
humans
seen
needed
at the
this win.
last Apollo, when the
You know,
last
otherwise
Apollo
that would have been like
astronauts were
3 or
on the
4
moon during
failed
Apollo 17.
lunar landings in a row.
Exactly.
And so
you know,
finally, Blue Ghost is expected to
it's just-
operate for some
yeah.
hours into the lunar night as well. So it means that there's still so much to look forward to during this mission. I'm really excited.
Me too. And so while we continue to stand by for that first moon image, we're going to go ahead and check back in with Ray, who was just in the Mission Operations Center with the
Yeah, come
Firefly
on.
team during that impressive landing.
Come on, it's been 20 minutes already.
Hey, thank you, Bridget.
Another
Joining
10
us
minutes,
once
maybe?
again is Ray Allensworth, Firefly Spacecraft Program Director. Ray, I mean, how you feeling? What an awesome time.
You can turn the mic on.
I'm sorry, my heart's beating so fast. I know, I can see that. It's so exciting.
All right.
You were just in Firefly's Mission Operations Center. Can you tell us how everyone was feeling in that moment, what it was like?
It was so quiet.
serious
for
faces,
just, like,
something's
I mean,
off, you
It
reckon?
was like a 9-minute burn,
You calling
12
it?
minutes, like getting through PDI, pitch over, and then you just hear these 4 call outs. And I think I'll just forever hear like our chief engineer Will's voice, like we
You wouldn't
successfully
wanna
landed on the
reuse
moon,
the
and then
tech
just
from
everybody
Apollo.
kind of lost their minds. I'm sure y'all did
You
too.
wouldn't want to reuse it. You,
We sure
you want to
did. It was
reuse the
great,
same
you
profile,
know.
like the same mission
Okay,
kind of
now
profiles.
Blue Ghost is on the moon.
Yeah.
How they did it.
What's the team
But you
doing
wouldn't want to
now?
reuse
So
the tech.
they're all business again, so I had to leave because I couldn't keep it together. So they are immediately going into health and safety, and then it's really just immediate into payload ops. So, we landed at the beginning of the lunar day, and we want to
Yes, I think
maximize
Parks
as
has
much of that
better.
time as possible
Well,
for all
Parks
the
has
payloads.
higher
so they will
sensitivity
immediately dive
receivers,
into
though.
that, and really these
Parks
first 3
is a
days after
pure
landing
receiver.
are going to be
Parks
just
doesn't
jam-packed.
transmit
Just try to get
at all. It's
every single
optimized for
payload op
receiving
going that
only.
we possibly can.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about those surface operations and now kind of some of the most exciting moments that we can look forward to?
Yeah, it's been 10 minutes.
while
Well, they
Blue Ghost
said
is
they
on the
would. It's
moon?
been 20
Yeah,
minutes.
so I like to say that when we land on the moon, I think the lander kind of comes to life. The Lister drill will go down, the surface access arm will deploy. We'll have probes coming off the side of the lander. So a lot of different payload ops, but there's also a couple other phenomena that we'll see on the surface. So we will witness an
give us the-
eclipse while
we
we're
don't
on the
care
surface.
about what it's gonna be
and then
later.
at sunset, we expect to see this kind of phenomena
care
where
about what's happening
the dust
now.
levitates off the
Give us
surface.
the
So that we'll try
technical
to
readouts of that,
we will
battle station,
photograph and video
please.
all of that.
That is so cool. When it was being discussed earlier, that lunar sunset, I think we were all like, wait, what are we going to be looking at? Exactly. No, I love that. This, as was mentioned, isn't going to be the only lunar mission for Firefly. Can you tell us a little
Higher
bit
cost
more
and higher
about
red
the
tape,
upcoming
unfortunately.
ones, what we can expect, how those will look?
Yeah, absolutely. So Blue Ghost Mission 2 is well underway.
Back then
We're
it was
moving
go
into the
fever.
integration phase of that mission. That
Right.
mission is really special because it's not just a lander, but it's also our Electra vehicle that's going with it. So that'll help get it to lunar orbit. And then once we deploy Blue Ghost in one of our NASA payloads, that will actually act as a comms
Does the lander have a sort of
so
selfie stick
that
to get
is,
in the video feed?
far past CDR in integration, getting ready to go. And then
Anyway,
we just have
apparently,
a
yeah,
kickoff
this will
for
have
Mission 3. So
360-degree
we're gonna be
HD
pretty busy
cameras
for the next
on
couple
it.
years.
So
Very busy. I mean, and
it's going to be
you know,
cool.
You just mentioned for the next lunar mission, you have to use
Keep
not
us
just
30
going to be
minutes
the
probably
lander
to get an
that you're
image,
sending, you're
yeah.
also using the orbiting
Yep,
spacecraft
so we expect
electron
another
vehicle.
10 minutes
Tell us
maybe
how that works, why it's
for the
needed,
image.
you know, for Blue Ghost mission 2.
Yeah, so Blue Ghost Mission 2, we have a lot more payload mass, but also we're deploying a fairly large payload lunar pathfinder into orbit. So, you know, the transfer stage will get that whole
That is
stack
correct,
to
Benjamin.
lunar orbit once we deploy from
Neil
the
was the
launch
one that
vehicle. And then
was
it
actually
deploys
at-
LP,
was
and then
hands on
again,
stick.
it's staying as a comms relay, so we'll be on the far side. So we're really designing that vehicle to be able to operate for 5
Well, I don't know
years.
if it's
So
HD
a
or
pretty robust
4K.
vehicle,
It's
and
like-
it shares
anyway.
a lot of heritage from the lander.
Pretty decent camera on top.
Really cool. I cannot wait for that one to get underway. And as you mentioned,
Yes,
you
they
know,
have
the second
14
mission, that's
days
gonna
of
go to the
sunlight.
far
Yes,
side.
they deliberately
Are there
timed
any
this. That's why they
challenges
took
or
their
any
time, because
differences,
they
I
wanted to
guess, with
land
landing,
just
you know,
as they
right now
got
on
the
near
first
side compared to now for the
sunlight.
next one, that's going to be a different
Yes.
location.
I think we know less about the far side, so you know, we had a relatively good amount of data for our specific payload type.
Yeah, they've got a. I agree. They've got a. No, it's not an alien base. Come on, whack man, don't be ridiculous. Everyone knows it's a Nazi base. It's the Nazi base that is on the moon. It's not an alien. No one believes in aliens.
Yeah, I mean, we'll
The
learn
Nazi
more about
base.
it as we go through integration and the, you know, the mission ops phase for that mission.
That is super exciting. I can't wait to learn about all the different things that, you know, you guys uncover along the way. Now, Ray, for you personally, I guess, what's next for you? You know, what are you going to be doing for the rest of this mission, or are you now full steam ahead on Blue Ghost Mission 2?
I'm going to go to sleep. And
So I
then,
guess they're just waiting.
Just dive
They're
right
just
into surface ops.
waiting for download. Like, can we? I want somebody telling us, like, oh yeah, we actually have an S-band connection. Yes, we do have an S-band connection, and it is download, and we're getting something. We don't know what we're getting, but we're getting something. I want to know. It should be like a bar graph there. You know?
Our hostess, Danila, for
I mean, come on.
Thank you, Tony, and congratulations to both of you once again. In case you missed it just moments ago, Firefly successfully landed on the moon at 2:34 a.m. Central Time. The Blue Ghost lunar lander safely touched down, and Mari Crisium delivering those 10 NASA science and tech instruments. Now, we should just give a heads up that we do expect another image, or their first image rather, to come through in approximately the next 30 minutes. We are standing by for that.
30
But
minutes
let's talk
again?
a little bit more about what to expect and what to
Oh.
face over the course of the landing.
Oh, Mrs. EV Blog's going to be
let's
pissed.
take a look at that incredible landing. Now that we're on the surface, we're, like I said,
Nope. I just did the replay. And oh, she said another image. Oh, what? Really? Did she say another image?
11 meters up.
So they already have an image? They'd be shoving that thing out quick as. So just have a look at these. This one here is the one that failed. And it never even briefly flashed blue. Oh, that one hit first, then that, I think. And then that one just, they got nothing out of it. So.
Vehicle shut down.
3 contact sensors tripped.
Engine shut down. Good parts.
Hydrogen shut down.
Power's nominal vehicle is charging.
IMU reports lunar gravity and it is stable.
So it was getting sun and it was getting lunar gravity. Lunar gravity means it's stationary, obviously. So they were still getting data after it's down. So it's definitely upright because they were getting sun. That's why they called out that charge thing. They called out, yes, the batteries are charging because they were getting, it means that the solar panel is getting full sun exactly as predicted. So yeah, that was that's why it was one of the first things that they called out, because that tells them that it's upright, it's pointed, it's oriented the right way, and yeah, so that was a very critical thing.
so now we're on the surface and we're standing by, as I mentioned, for that
Oh,
first
oh,
image, which should be ready. in
Somebody put
just
something up on the
some
screen.
moments. But Blue Ghost is on the moon for the first time, and we know that image won't be the same quality that we've seen over the course of this mission or while it was in transit. And that's because she's just getting settled in her new home and getting all of the comms and
us the image.
sorted out. Teams have been working towards this moment and will continue to stand by.
They haven't yet
as we
developed a
anticipate that
conversion tool
image.
into a JPEG.
We also want to check back in with Tony, who's with Chris Colbert. Tony?
Thank you, Nilofer. Joining me is Chris Colbert, manager for NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Initiative.
Yes, the stable gravity suggests it's upright and stable landing. Yes, exactly. So there's several things that told us. The stable gravity, but also the battery charging, which means that the solar panel's oriented in the right direction, so it has the correct rotation. And it's obviously upright. So yeah, it's definitely landed. This sucker is. And they would tell us if they weren't getting any data at all from it. They were obviously getting data after it landed, and it's still continuously transmitting. So I think it's a complete success.
Relatively quickly, so we're hoping to get.
And we just have a dodgy contact sensor pad, maybe.
And we just have proof it works. We landed on the moon almost perfectly.
That's right. You know, and
I don't know what CPU they're using. PowerPC 603. Yeah, it's common.
Chosen for CLPS as opposed to any other location in the universe.
Well, let's start
They need to reboot the NBN modem.
It's relatively easy to get to. We can get to it in just a few days. But it's also a key part of the Moon to Mars strategy for the agency. The Artemis program and getting humans back to the moon and on to Mars.
They use TIFF format, do they?
Starting here with the smaller landers and letting us learn about the moon is a big
Yeah,
part of
if
what
only we
CLPS
spent
is
as much money on science as we did on war. Indeed.
CLPS could one day
Indeed.
expand to cover other destinations like Mars?
Well, what I think we're seeing here is that commercial companies are very successful. So we want to take advantage of those capabilities and the growing
Who's this dude?
industrial
I missed
base in
it.
the United States and the American companies, what they bring to the table to allow us to broaden our exploration. It's a key part of the Artemis strategy is to take advantage of commercial companies. And as we just proved tonight, they can do it. They can do it really well.
That's right. You know, now that we have another
Come
commercial
on.
company on the moon, how does
I don't
it
know if
feel
I can
to
wait
see
30
this
minutes for the
initiative
image.
underway and producing results?
It's astounding. This is amazing. I can't say enough good words about the Firefly team. They did just such amazing
I mean, if
work
it's
all the way
another
through, and
30
that was kind of
minutes,
a
that puts me at
picture-perfect
8:30.
landing. Everything worked beautifully.
Past
All the way through
8:30.
this mission, they
I'm
knew
gonna
what
drive
they were
home.
doing. They solved every problem that came in front of them.
But technically, I could probably stay until 8:30 and not get in trouble. I've got to be home before Huxley goes to bed. Was the instruction? The instruction was basically be home before Huxley goes to bed.
So we've got a lot of moons coming, and this works.
So
That's right. I mean, you just mentioned we have another moon landing coming up very shortly. Can you tell us a little bit more about those future CLPS flights, what we can look forward to and when?
Sure. So part of what we're doing here, Nikki Fox mentioned it earlier, we're helping learn more about the moon to prepare us for taking humans back.
Come on.
So we're flying an increasingly complex series of instruments to the moon and demonstrations
my
of
box just fell
technology
over.
to help advance our capability prior to taking the humans there.
I don't
Make
think
it
you saw
safer
that, but no.
and more productive when they do get there. We'll see those missions scattered out fairly consistently over the next 3 to 4 years as our instruments are matured and put together, and we take advantage of what we learned from these early missions. You've heard a lot today about the instruments on this mission. We'll learn from those instruments and make adjustments to the instruments we fly in the future.
Boy.
And you'll see those spread out over the next 2 to 3 years so that by the time we take humans back, we know a lot about the moon.
That's cool. I'm very much looking forward to that. I mean,
Yeah, come on.
you know, thank you so much again.
Yeah, we
for
do like
joining
looking at
us
the jacket.
here. Now, we'll send it back to our hostess, Tanilla.
He's very cool.
Thank you both, and thank you,
Come on.
Chris, for
Come
guiding
on. What's the
entire
update?
CLPS team since day one. I know it's an accomplishment.
Yes, come on.
and I know that I am not alone as I express gratitude for your guidance and support over the years. We are all so grateful for you. Now, we do have something exciting that we've all been waiting for. Do you want to tease the audience a little bit more? Or
Come on.
What do you
We
think?
have that lunar image ready.
Do
So
we?
let's go ahead.
We've got the image.
with the team.
We've got it.
Right, you're seeing
Whoa, way, hello.
At that view.
I'm feeling a little bit
Look at that
emotional,
view.
and I'm feeling over the moon. Now, when I look up at the moon from down here, I will always remember this exact moment and the fact that Blue Ghost Mission 1 is in the northeast region in Mare Crisium.
What is it?
What an incredible sight.
Is that the... Oh, okay. Oh, so that's a side camera. So it's on the side, and that's the horizon?
This will be one of those cameras on the lunar lander. We're looking at that lunar surface, so you can see the...
Yeah, the surface is down here.
The craters, some rocks, and that vision navigation system did such a phenomenal job finding what looks like a relatively flat surface for us.
Yeah, there's a little cratery thing there. Don't know what's going on there.
Of our lander in that image as well.
Now, this is that low-quality image we anticipated, but Firefly expects to
First
share
lunar
more
image.
imagery and insights at the upcoming
They could have at least
We'll get that
tilted it, couldn't
imagery,
they?
and then we'll actually also be able to get that video from landing.
Yeah, because I assume
Now, before
that
we get
this
ready to wrap, what
this is
else
like
is
the
NASA
horizon, so to speak, and it's just getting some overexposure there.
Lockheed Martin's LM-400 satellite on our next Alpha rocket. The Firefly team is also gearing up for our next mission to the moon in 2026. And that mission is part of another...
We need more details on the photo. We need more details on the comms. We need to know what data rate you're getting. There should be a live data rate up here. Should be a live data rate. Who's with me? Let's protest until we get on all lunar missions, on all space missions, we get a live data rate.
You guys can always check out fireflyspace.com/missions.
I'll have to tweet that.
A lot coming down the pipeline too. What do y'all have in store for us?
We do. We are
Oh,
busy.
sorry, I'm
Eclipse
not up to date
continues
on the
be
comments.
An example of how NASA is enabling commercial services at the moon to support long-term lunar exploration. We have more Eclipse deliveries that are planned through 2028, and the next Eclipse lunar landing is
Yes, sorry
coming up.
about the chat feed.
Intuitive Machines' IM-2 mission is just days away to landing on the moon on March 6th at Mons Montal, which is near the moon's south pole, which you can follow on all of our NASA channels. On top of the next moon landing, we also have a launch. We're launching 2 new NASA science missions together in the coming days. NASA's newest space telescope,
All right,
SpaceX,
well,
and its rideshare Punch will lift off from
that's cool.
Vandenberg Space
So,
Force Base in California.
Boop. I'm going to mute them. And at least they took the lens cover off. Yeah. NASA equals never straight answer. Anyway, very cool. That is awesome. They did it. They did it. It looks like it's fully operational. So yeah, they're going to extend that high bandwidth antenna. I assume fold it out. A little telescopic rod goes up. Don't know. Anyway, so they've got a high band antenna, so they're going to deploy that. And then they said they have to calibrate it and get optimal data rate. But yeah, so by tomorrow, when I wake up tomorrow, hopefully we've got some HD images from the 360-degree on top. So that'll be cool. No, Gunga, piss off. Gunga, it's not very sus. You're an idiot, Gunga. Piss off. No, I haven't had dinner. I've got to go home. Mrs. EV Blog will reheat my dinner for me. It is... Oh, the feed's gone. There you go. Everyone. So, oh, yeah, sorry, yeah, you can still hear them on from the speakers. But anyway, yes, thank you, everyone, for joining me. That was awesome. The first commercial lunar landing. So, yeah, that is great. Cool bananas. So thank you, everyone, for joining me. I shall go home, and I've got to, yeah, because I'm full of mud. I've got my T-shirt. I've got my, there you go. Got my, yeah, got my True Grit T-shirt. And got very sore legs. I got big bruises, and I whacked my leg and got a huge big welt on it. It blew up, like, you know, it was about that size or something, as in that much pokey out from my leg. Yeah, it was really bad. I'm going to go home and soak and have dinner. All right. Hope the couch isn't too uncomfortable. All right. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. That's awesome. Catch you next time.